Hello everybody, today we're taking a look at the case of Joan Risch, age 31, the day that she disappeared, which was October 24th of 1961. Now Joan Risch disappeared under strange circumstances, but her upbringing was also not normal in the sense that her parents died in a suspicious house fire. Suspicious mostly because the mother was just sitting in a chair and the father was found on the floor clutching the phone. And the dog that they had was found in the basement, and it had been put down or put to sleep, so it was not even in the fire. And it was particularly strange because the dog would have barked if anybody unknown had come up to the apartment, so there were a lot of questions surrounding that death. But in any case, Joanne was not implicated because she was only 9 at that age, and I believe she wasn't even home. She was put in foster care and eventually married a guy named Martin Risch. And they got on pretty well because they were both from Brooklyn. They moved into a house together. And when she was 31, she had 2 children. She had Lilian, aged 4, and David, aged 2. That day, she had been to the dentist with one of the kids as well, made a follow-up appointment with them. She had put David in his cot. She had put Lilian on a swing set across the street with some neighbors because she was going to go out, is what she said to her. Now, neighbors saw her at some point during the afternoon standing there next to her car with something red in her hands, and she was wearing a trench coat, and the neighbor described her as being a little out of sorts, and they never really figured out what the red thing that she was holding was. When Lilian came home around 4 p.m. that afternoon, she reported that her mother was missing, and David was left alone crying in his cot upstairs, and the kitchen was full of red paint by her description. Later, when they investigated this red paint, it turned out to be blood, and even later when they investigated blood more clearly, it was determined that it was menstruation blood, and it could have been either a miscarriage or an abortion or something along those lines that was carried out there. The blood was all over the kitchen, up on the ceiling, on the walls, everywhere. Another interesting thing was that they found empty beer bottles in the trash as well, which was very uncharacteristic of both Martin and Joanne, because I don't think either of them were normally very heavy drinkers. Another interesting thing was that there was a coat hanger found on top of her car when they went and investigated the scene, and also a blue Oldsmobile had been seen in their driveway and since disappeared. And the idea was that perhaps she had gotten in the car with this person with a blue Oldsmobile to some unknown destination. And when they looked into her actions before she disappeared, she had apparently checked out a lot of books from the library on people disappearing, in particular wives disappearing to foreign nations and stuff like that. And so they think she may have planned her escape. Anyway, so this is a case in which we are going to consult the tarot to see if we can find out any more about this situation. We have here, for starters, the vice versa tarot deck, this one, with the double sides to every story. And we also have, for follow-up questions, the Muse deck, which is this one, with the very dream-like images on the other side. As per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the cards, and as soon as I have about a table full of cards, we'll take a look at what we've got. So without much further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we do see some movement and some intrigue, etc. in these cards. Let's start with the first 3 up top here. We have the Chariot, we have the 8 of Wands, and we have the 9 of Wands. Okay, the Chariot kind of Maybe wonder about the night sky being in the background. You see the Big Dipper there up in the clouds behind him. The main thing that drew me to this card is that it's a lot like moving at night, moving in darkness, moving under the cover of darkness. It could be a lot of stuff was already happening in the background, and perhaps the stars as well. It's almost like following a star, but not in the sense that it's like public knowledge. Also, I'm noticing the fact that he has a very bright shining light on his helmet, and he's holding the, I think that's the Cadea's staff or something along those lines. I'm not really sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's like the Hermes staff, which Hermes is known for speed, but also the staff with the two snakes on it is for like medicine and that type of thing, like Hippocratic Oath and all those things. There's a lot going on this card. So I'm also noticing that the eye over there on the actual chariot itself, it looks like there's a line running through it as though the eye is closed or closing. So this is definitely a moving under the cover of darkness type of card. A lot of movement though, because we also have here the 8 of Wands. Now 8 of Wands is normally like a lot of movement anyway, a lot of action, a lot of energy, but also communication taking place. And combine that with the 9 of Wands, where this person who is tired is meeting with some strange person coming out of the cave. It almost seems like there was definitely a need to move, and it was kept hidden. But there was definitely a context somewhere in this game here that they were playing. Maybe under medical pretense, that's why you may have been looking at the Hermes staff over here, but in general it's just a lot of secretive motions in the background, perhaps communicating with people that were not clearly in view in life. That reminds me, there were a couple of reports of people in the neighborhood having been called by an unknown man asking about Joan Risch, so that might be this person in the cave trying to reach out or trying to find some connection anyway. We still don't know who that was. A little bit strange, so there's definitely somebody looking for her, and there may have been some communication going on beforehand that was secretive. And then we have the 8 of Swords in reverse. We have, I think that's Justice. We'll have to turn him around, and we also have 3 of Swords on the end. So that's a lot of sword energy, because even this other card has a sword on it. Yeah, this is Justice. That's what I thought. So Justice reversed. And the 8 of Swords reversed and the 3 of Swords. I think this is the front. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so 3 of Swords is often, sorry, I'm way up there. 3 of Swords is often a 3 is a crowd type of card, and particularly since we already have all these going on in the background with the secretive connections, there may have been something going on that was not quite right, which is why Justice is flipped rather than reversed. Then we also have here the 8 of Swords, which is normally like a mental entrapment, probably something that's been going on for some time. That reminds me that there were people who said that even though she seemed happy and being very caring and loving and stuff like that, there did appear to be something about her that pointed towards her feeling a little bit trapped in this life. Don't know what exactly made them think that, but this is definitely a card pointing that out, like, oh, there's this mental idea about being trapped, which may not have been super correct if you look at things objectively, but you know, if it's in reverse, I tend to read that as an internal thing, and in this case she may have been feeling like this for quite some time, and from her point of view it's probably justice to take the actions that she did. And then we have this 3 is a charmed person over there, which is probably also referencing the person in the cave over here. So it does seem to be pointing towards her leaving of her own volition. Now that doesn't mean that she may have left exactly under the circumstances that she would have liked. So let's take a look what we've got here. We've got the Page of Wands in reverse, we've got the Moon in reverse, and we've got the 6 of Pentacles upright. Okay. Now the Page of Wands has a very interesting aspect on this particular card, and that is the Phoenix rising from the grave there. And the person, the page themselves, is turned away, which also kind of has the same energy to it as the Chariot and the 8 of Wands together up here with the 9 of Wands, because this is them basically turning away and again following their stars. There's more stars lit up there in the background that they may have been aiming for, just like there were stars here on the Chariot. So this seems as though planning to leave under some type of cover of darkness, even though she left in the middle of the day. But okay, I guess that would be even less suspicious than leaving in the middle of the night, because of course people would notice a car pulling up with headlights on after hours or something, and during the daytime that would be less obvious. But anyways, it looks as though she really had a plan and she was definitely going. She may not have thought it through very well, because the pages are known to be a kind of adolescent energy, head over heels, and particularly the Page of Wands, which has a lot of fire energy to it, may have acted very harshly, rashly. And the moon over here is showing that there are a lot of secrets, and they may also have been piling up a little bit. Once again, it's in reverse, so I think these are secrets that she's kept to herself for a very long time. But we do see here a benefactor showing up, somebody who really feels like they can step outside of the community, may not have been part of the community as well, because they are really towering over this sleepy village looking place with their money and resources, it appears. Really focusing in on a particular house. It looks as though we can't see which one, but I imagine that they would come in from the outside and sweep them away off to whatever it is that they wish, or at least to help them in some way. So this looks like the person helping her out to leave. This will be the day where she actually left. Now let's see what we have over here. We have the Five of Cups, and we also have an extra card, Two of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Wands, more Wands energy, and the Four of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to grab these two first. Five of Cups and the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is kind of like balancing your finances as well, but making a plan. This is them planning perhaps the voyage. As you can see, there is a ship behind them on the horizon. And we have the Five of Cups here, which is normally like a crying over spilled milk, but it really looks as though they're not even planning to look at the two cups. They're just planning on leaving. They're going to leave everything else behind, and these two cups may even represent Lilian and David in that sense, like just cutting all cords and leaving, probably thinking that that was the best option for them for whatever reason. We have the Seven of Wands here, which is kind of like a jealousy card, and we also have the Four of Swords. So in addition to wanting to leave, she also has here the Seven of Wands, which is kind of like a jealousy card, people coming for her. It might also be that she feels jealous of other people. And the next thing she really wanted to do was rest, because the Four of Swords is normally a taking a break type of card, just stepping out of the rat race for a second to sit and ponder, like this person is doing over here. You can see that there's like stuff on fire in the background, and they're just sitting there ignoring all of it, even just kind of taking a nap, just taking a break from everything. So it looks as though she felt very jealous of people who could just, I don't know, do their own thing, I suppose. She may have felt trapped in a household with two small children, and even though she may have seen the aftermath of her disappearing, she just decided to stick to her plan and stay out of it, stay away. As you can see, the background is burning, and they're not even really looking at that. So I feel like they felt justified in their actions. So this is them leaving. Let's see if we can find out anything about the aftermath. For that, we're going to grab the Muse deck and see what we can find about what happens next. I feel like the Four of Swords is already kind of like a what happened next card, in the sense that that is the final conclusion. I've left now. I'm taking a break. I see stuff on the news about me being reported, but I'm just not going to go back. That's it. Burnt the bridges. And this is my life now. That's the type of energy that I'm getting from that card. Let's see what else we've got. Nine of Cups. Yep, that's feeling pretty good. And then a Page of Inspiration, and inspiration is Wands. So we have the Page of Wands again. We had them on here already, but in this case it's upright. So now they're still continuing in with that head over heels action, but in this case it feels a lot more positive for them, almost like I'm free to do whatever I want now, because you can see they're in the middle of the desert thinking up all sorts of creative ideas and having a whole bunch of space around them to do whatever it is that they want, and they're feeling pretty good about that, because the Nine of Cups is being really emotionally stable within yourself. Independent, feeling good, just being super zen. As you can see, she's like floating with a bunch of crystals. That is apparently how she felt directly after Free, and yeah, just free and feeling good about themselves. Probably also excited about the future, I think. That's quite a large stack that just slid off there. This is a whole bunch of cards. It's like 6 or 7 cards. Let's see what we have. Put these guys back in order. Sorta. Okay, we have Two of Inspiration. That's the Two of Wands. So this is them making plans and then setting out actions or action plans to actually go and do things. So this is her actually after her initial feeling free phase of going out there making plans to do things. We have the Three of Inspiration. That means that she didn't feel very free to travel, probably because people were on the lookout for her. Three of Inspiration is the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is normally about traveling, setting out paths to walk. And it looks as though even though she is trying to do stuff in her new life, she didn't feel like she was super free to move about, probably feeling like people may recognize who she is and then call authorities to have her picked up and all that sort of thing. Then we have Judgment. Yep, Judgment in reverse. So she may have felt like people were judging her for it. It's definitely a beam going straight for the heart. So maybe she kind of kept an eye on the family that she left behind to see how the kids were doing. There was probably some issues there. Like maybe she felt like they would be better off without her. But still she probably felt like they would probably be sad. Particularly in the way that she left, which made it really look like a murder scene or something along those lines. So that definitely has an impact on children, and she may have felt some internal judgments based on that, but because it's internal, I don't think anybody ever really judged her face to face. Like, they may never have found out that it was her, and nobody's ever found her, so they definitely never discovered her. They have Temperance over here. This is striking a new balance, so I feel like even though she was feeling judged and unable to move without fearing being recognized, she definitely sorted herself out to strike a new balance in this new life that she found herself in. Possibly also starting a new relationship or maybe getting a new job or something just to kind of balance herself out. Then we have here the Hanged Man, or in this case the Hanged Muse, which is more balancing out energy, also taking a new perspective, perhaps taking on a whole new personality, just like coming up with a whole new background for herself to tell other people where she came from, what she was doing there, what she was looking to do in the future and stuff like that. Just being a whole new person, kind of almost like somebody who is in like a witness protection program. You have to find a whole new balance for yourself. Even though you want to make plans, you kind of worry about being found out and stuff like that. So that's a little bit strange. Now we have the Eight of Cups here, Eight of Emotions, which is normally about walking away. So she does feel, similar to the Judgment over here, that she abandoned them, and it definitely wore her down emotionally, but not enough to actually reveal where she was, obviously. What else? What happened next? Okay, we're going back to the other deck. Okay, we get Ace of Wands here, which is definitely a new initiative, a new vibe, and going for this new opportunity that she finds herself in. So internally she feels some regrets, but she definitely feels like that was her only choice, and now she is just rearing to go and carry out her new life, her new plans. Oh, this one. The Hierophant in reverse. This may be her avoiding any type of marriage or relationship, or at the very least avoiding anybody who represents institutions of that type, because she is wary of that, probably wary of, once again, ending up in another trap that she was in before. So she is either not trusting authority or not wanting to sign up for another system that she found herself trapped in before. being very shrewd about it, because we have here the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords is very sharp-witted, and I think she spent a lot of time thinking of the best ways to carry on her life without being detected, and being pretty good at that. So just being really good at being chameleon, being very good with answering people's questions, because it is a communication suit, the Swords. So, and she also probably thought things through very thoroughly. People may have found her to be a little cold, perhaps, if they encountered her, like very on the surface. Even though there was probably a lot going on inside, she wasn't never really going to reveal that, so she definitely kept her cool around people and didn't let people too close, perhaps. Also combined with the reversed hierophant there. Nope. But we do get the Five of Pentacles here. Now, the Five of Pentacles is normally like a loss of resources, and she may have found things to be very tough when she was on her own, no longer married to anybody. So this may represent that even though she felt free and able to undertake her own things, that she definitely was not super rich after that. She had to struggle in order to make ends meet, it seems as though. See if we can get like maybe 1 or 2 cards more for this. Okay, we have the Tower here already, and this is a Two of Wands. Okay, so this looks as though the plans that she was making were turned upside down, literally, because the Two of Wands is reversed, so that's like not really being able to carry them out. But also we see here the Tower, and we'll look who's at the base of the Tower. It's the two, what are they, Sphinxes that were drawing the Chariot earlier, and they've now just decided to take a break. They appear to be in water, I think, so I think that she may have been found out, or it turned out to be not quite what she had planned, and that Five of Pentacles from before may have also pointed it out, like things that she thought she would be able to do were out of reach, and it kind of changed her entire worldview and put a stop to a lot of her plans, unfortunately. So she was not super lucky there. Why was that? Let's see if we can find anything about the Tower. What's going on there? Okay, so we have here work, Three of Pentacles. We have here the Five of Wands, so that's like conflicts. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. All right, so this looks as though whatever financial endeavor she was trying to embark on did not go very well. Particularly people that she had to work with did not suit her very well. She may have been arguing with them, had a prolonged struggle in her workplace, and then eventually she probably just chose financial balance over trying to fix this. So this looks as though she's just trying to keep everything afloat and not lose too much to this conflict. So she may have like been poised to lose her job, or she may have lost her job because of this Tower movement. She may have been arguing with very important people at her work, I don't know, and then gotten fired as a result. And after that, she had to really watch all of her expenses. So it looks as though, even though she did get the freedom that she was looking for, it was not as simple as she may have hoped, or at least it didn't go quite as she had planned it. But even though it's kind of like a financial balance card, we do see some type of serenity with this Four of Pentacles. So I feel like even though they may not have made the best decisions after they left, I do feel like they have some peace with the decisions they've made. And this looks almost like an end of life type of card, because it looks as though the towers that you see in the background are in loose sand, kind of like looking back at the wasteland that is her life, even though she has now carefully balanced things out to make sure that she's at least somewhat comfortable, because the robe that they're wearing is fairly luxurious. So after a long and difficult life, it looks as though she was making up the balance and found that even though things could have been better, I don't think she would want to do it any differently. It looks a little bit like a regret card, but not too much. More like I didn't feel like I had a choice, and this is now my balance, and this is how it's going to be. So I feel like she never really wanted to return, and Like I said earlier, I think she also felt like if she were to let the kids know where she was and what happened, that they may have been even worse off because of that. She probably felt that it was better to remain a mystery and just continue her own course. So that is what I'm seeing for Joan Risch. Hope you found it interesting. In any case, make sure to leave a like or a comment. That really helps the channel along. I hope to see you in another video. And thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.